January 4th, 1992. Dear friend, I'm sorry for that last letter. To tell you the truth, I don't really remember much of it, but I know from how I woke up that it probably wasn't very nice. All I remember from the rest of that night was looking all over the house for an envelope and a stamp. When I finally found them, I wrote your address and walked down the hill past the trees to the post office because I knew that if I didn't put it in a mailbox that I couldn't get it back from, I would never mail the letter. It's weird how important it seemed at the time. Once I got to the post office, I dropped the letter into the mailbox, and it felt final and calm. Then I started throwing up, and I didn't stop throwing up until the sun came up. I looked at the road and saw a lot of cars, and I knew that they were all going to their grandparents' house. And I knew that a lot of them would watch my brother play football later that day, and my mind played hopscotch. My brother, football, Brad, Dave and his girlfriend in my room, the coats, the cold, the winter, autumn leaves, don't tell anyone, you pervert, Sam and Craig, Sam, Christmas, typewriter, gift, Aunt Helen, and the trees kept moving, and they just wouldn't stop moving, so I laid down and made a snow angel. The policeman found me pale blue and asleep. I didn't stop shivering from the cold until a long time after my mom and dad drove me home from the emergency room. Nobody got in trouble because these things used to happen to me when I was a kid when I was seeing the doctors. I would just wander off and fall asleep somewhere. Everyone knew I went to a party, but nobody, not even my sister, thought it was because of that. And I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want Sam or Patrick or Bob or anyone to get in trouble. But most of all, I didn't want to see my mother's face, and especially my father's, if they heard me say the truth. So I didn't say anything. I just kept quiet and looked around, and I noticed things, the dots on the ceiling, or how the blanket they gave me was rough, or how the doctor's face looked rubbery, or how everything was a deafening whisper when he said that maybe I should start seeing a psychiatrist again. It was the first time a doctor ever told that to my parents with me in the room, and his coat was so white, and I was so tired. All I could think through the whole day was that we missed my brother's football game because of me, and I really hoped my sister thought to tape it. Luckily, she did. We got home, and my mom made me some tea, and my dad asked me if I wanted to sit and watch the game, and I said yes. We watched my brother make a great play, but this time nobody really cheered. All corners of all eyes were on me, and my mom said a lot of encouraging things about how I was doing so well this school year, and maybe the doctor would help me sort things out. My mom can be quiet and talk at the same time when she's being positive. My dad kept giving me love pats. Love pats are soft punches of encouragement that are administered on the knee, shoulder, and arm. My sister said that she could help me fix up my hair. It was weird to have them pay so much attention to me. What do you mean? What's wrong with my hair? My sister just kind of looked around, uncomfortable. I reached my hands up to my hair and realized that a lot of it was gone. I honestly don't remember when I did it, but from the look of my hair, I must have grabbed a pair of scissors and just started cutting without strategy. Big chunks of it were missing all over the place. It was like a butcher's cut. I hadn't looked at myself in the mirror at the party for a long time because my face was different and frightened me, or else I would have noticed. My sister did help me trim it up a bit, and I was lucky because everyone in school, including Sam and Patrick, thought it looked cool. Chick was Patrick's word. Regardless, I decided to never take LSD again. January 14th, 1992. Dear friend, I feel like a big faker because I've been putting my life back together and nobody knows. It's hard to sit in my bedroom and read like I always did. It's even hard to talk to my brother on the phone. His team finished third in the nation. Nobody told him we missed the game live because of me. I went to the library and checked out a book because I was getting scared. Every now and then things would start moving again, and sounds were bass heavy and hollow, and I couldn't put a thought together. The book said that sometimes people take LSD and they don't really get out of it. They say that it increases this one type of brain transmitter. They said that essentially the drug is 12 hours of schizophrenia, and if you already have a lot of this brain transmitter, you don't get out of it. I started breathing fast in the library. It was really bad because I remembered some of the schizophrenic kids in the hospital when I was little, and it didn't help that this was the day after I noticed that all the kids were wearing their new Christmas clothes, so I decided to wear my new suit from Patrick to school, and was teased mercilessly for 9 straight hours. It was such a bad day. I skipped my first class ever and went to see Sam and Patrick outside. "Looking sharp, Charlie," Patrick said, grinning. "Can I have a cigarette?" I said. I couldn't bring myself to say bum a smoke, not for my first one. I just couldn't. "Sure," said Patrick. Sam stopped him. "What's wrong, Charlie?" I told him what was wrong, which prompted Patrick to keep asking me if I had a bad trip. No, it's not that." I was really getting upset. Sam put her arm around my shoulder, and she said she knew what I was going through. She told me I shouldn't worry about it. Once you do it, you remember how things looked on it, that's all. Like how the road turned into waves, and how your face was plastic and your eyes were 2 different sizes. It's all in your mind. That's when she gave me the cigarette. When I lit it, I didn't cough. It actually felt soothing. I know that's bad in a health class way, but it was true. "Now focus on the smoke," Sam said, and I focused on the smoke. "Now that looks normal, doesn't it?" "Uh-huh," I think I said. "Now look at the cement on the playground. Is it moving?" "Uh-huh." "Okay, now focus on the piece of paper that's just sitting there on the ground." And I focused on the piece of paper that was sitting on the ground. "Is the cement moving now?" "No, it's not." "From there you go to you're going to be okay to you probably should never do acid again." Sam went on to explain what she called the trance. The trance happens when you don't focus on anything and the whole big picture swallows and moves around you. She said it is usually metaphoric, but for people who should never do acid again, it was literal. That's when I started laughing. I was so relieved, and Sam and Patrick smiled. I was glad they started smiling too, because I couldn't stand there looking so worried. Things have stopped moving for the most part ever since. I haven't skipped another class. And I guess now I don't feel like a big faker for trying to put my life back together. Bill thought my paper on the Catcher in the Rye, which I wrote on my new old typewriter, was my best one yet. He said I was developing at a rapid pace and gave me a different kind of book to read as a reward. It's On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I'm now up to about 10 cigarettes a day. Love always, Charlie.